Welcome to 'Cause We're Nerds, the podcast that covers trends and new releases in comics, movies, video games, board games, and much more. I'm your host, Caleb, and with me is my brother, Jacob.
Hey, everybody.
What's on the menu for today? Well, you'll find out on this week's episode of 'Cause We're Nerds. We've done movies for so long, we forgot how to pick topics!
Nice, you could tell that way because you said what's on the menu for today, you're gonna have to find it on the episode.
Whoa! Oh no, what are we gonna do?
You know, Caleb, when you don't know what to do, you just gotta go with life.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing today, right?
Yeah, boy, oh boy, man. We recorded an episode and edited it and released it last night, which is just about the quickest we've ever done that. And we are here today on a Tuesday, the very day that Spider-Man Far From Home comes out, which we are not talking about today. That's for next week. I have not seen it yet, so we'll get into that a bit later. But yes, so today, what we're going to do, we're going to take it a little bit easy, a little bit breezy. We're going to catch everybody up on what we've been up to, give you our recommendations on what's been going on, talk about some fun things here and there, and just have an all-around easy episode.
I am completely down for this.
Well, Jacob, I do want to welcome you back. It's been a while since I've spoken to you on the podcast.
Yes, it has been a while. I had a wonderful episode with your wife a few weeks ago.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that. That was very, very kind of you to do while I was in Boston. But now I'm back, and now you're back, and that means that we're both back.
Indeed.
The other thing about this episode that's, I guess, cool is this is our 80th episode.
Whoa.
So that's given us the confidence to just drop the ball on everything and say, you know what, we've got enough following at this point that whatever we do, people are just going to listen. We don't have to prepare. We don't even have to come up with a topic. We can just show up and talk about nonsense for an hour and people will stick around and listen.
You know, this is not even going to be edited, no music, no nothing. This is just straight cut and dry. This is what you're going to get. From now on.
If only we were kidding. All right. So, like I said earlier, I figured we'd just kind of at least start with what we've been up to, because it's been a couple weeks. It's been several weeks since I've been on. Technically, I was on the one yesterday, but I withheld what I have been up to so that we could talk about it on this episode. And I don't know if you've been up to anything, Jacob, but does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I'm down.
Awesome. All right. First things up, Courtney mentioned this on the last episode. Jacob, we finally done it. We finished the race. We ran the marathon. We were almost dead by the time we got there, but we finished Naruto.
That is amazing. She told me that, she really liked it. I asked her if she cried, obviously, because, that's like an end to an era, you know?
Yeah, really. Because we started this, 3 or 4 years ago?
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Because we started with the original Naruto. And then, obviously continued on to Shippuden.
Yeah. It's kind of like crazy to think about because I remember like I was starting out and you guys were so far ahead of me and I was like, I'm gonna catch up. And then there was a small point in there where I never actually caught up, but I was getting closer. And then I don't know what happened, but you guys like kicked me in overdrive, watching like 5 episodes a night.
Yeah.
And now I still have like 300 something episodes left and you guys are done. So I don't know what happened, but
well, it's probably less than that. Unless you're watching filler. We did skip the filler because it's filler. So, like half of Shippuden literally is filler.
Yeah, I wasn't skipping filler, and then I just now started skipping fillers.
It's nice because everything moves faster. It sucks because you have to constantly check the list because there's so many.
Yeah, like I just skipped the last episode that I watched. I had to skip a chunk of like 22 episodes, but there was one like in the middle of those that I had to watch.
Yep. And then sometimes, like, it's only part of it that's canon, and so you're like, well, half of this episode doesn't even matter, but it's a thing. So I had actually finished the manga Naruto back a year or two ago. Actually, it might have been, I think it was last year, because I think I talked about it on the podcast. And this was my first time watching the anime all the way through. I had seen up to... actually... Now that I think about it, I'm not sure. I had definitely seen the Pain stuff. I'm trying to think what... I definitely saw the Summit. It was somewhere around there. I think maybe around war era stuff. It was where I'd gotten. So I saw a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen in the anime before. And it was interesting because I had kind of assumed I would like the manga better because I'd heard there's like too many flashbacks towards the end of Naruto and the anime, and it really messes it up. And I enjoyed the manga, but there were things in the manga that I felt came out of nowhere, or like was a turn into left field, or things that weren't developed the way they should have been. And I assumed that because of that, I would like it better. But it ends up, I enjoyed the anime better, and I think it's because it has a little bit more time to breathe and a little bit more time to flesh things out. There were some points with way too many flashbacks to the same thing constantly. That was annoying. But overall, it gave me an appreciation of the ending that I didn't have before. Given there are still some things that come out of left field, but it didn't bother me as much because I knew about it. And also, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Jacob. There is a follow-up movie after the end of the anime that is canon, which I had seen before, and I thought it jumped the shark. However, watching the anime ending and then watching that again, it feels a lot more in line. Also, knowing some stuff about Japanese mythology that I didn't know the first time I saw it, it makes a lot more sense, which was really cool. And also, the manga actually ends and then has an extra chapter that takes place like 16 years in the future. The anime ends and then has like another 14 episodes or so that are also canon, but they're not in the manga. They are adapted from some novels that were written afterwards that are canon. And so that was also interesting to see those. And I think that also gave me some more insight into some things that the manga missed out on.
That's really interesting. I've always had people, tell me not only with, manga and stuff, but also movies that, what people say, oh, read the book first, because it'll disappoint you. If you read it after, the movie. Mm-hmm. My thought always is, and this is just me, and we've talked about it, every single time I go over a movie, I mention like the music and stuff. I'm more of a visual and auditory person. Mm-hmm. So movies I can like connect with more, and shows, and I get much more invested into the characters and the storyline than I do with a book. Because sometimes, you sit down to read and I may not be fully into reading, but I kind of want to read, so I'm 50-50, so I'm not super invested. However, whenever I watch a show, most of the time, the music or what's going on will pull me in more, whereas if I was trying to read it, I wouldn't get that same hit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of what makes the anime so good towards the end, is they do what's in the manga. By the way, there's like a whirling sound on your side. I don't know, it sounds like a fan or something.
Something just turned on. I don't really know what it is. Okay, it stopped.
And,
right?
it stopped.
Yep, there it is.
So, like, they did what's in the manga, but they also added some, I don't know if personality is the right word, but some extra stuff to it. And I think that really brings it to life.
Yeah, I've always just been I've just always liked things like that. Even in high school and middle school, and teachers were like, here, read this book, I'd go and like watch the movie, and then I'd like look up Spark Notes, not because I don't care to not do the work. I just, when I was younger and they made you read all those books, those were not the type of books that I enjoyed. So it kind of turned me off of reading. Mm-hmm. So now I'm still kind of the same way. Every now and then, like I'll read comic books and stuff like that, but those are a lot shorter and they have pictures, to go with them. Basically, I need picture books. I'm a child. because I can't connect with only text. I can't do it.
Okay, I mean, I like a good book, but I understand your point. Now, Naruto's not the only thing that I finished over the last several weeks. Courtney and I also finished the first season of The Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
Yes, I was actually going to mention that this episode, so I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so you started this, right? Have you finished?
Oh, yeah, I finished it forever ago.
Okay, I'm going to take a swig of this water. Talk for a second.
Okay. So I don't know if we're going to talk about spoilers here. I guess we'll try to stay away from spoilers in case people haven't seen it. Just so you know, there may be some small things, but nothing big. But yeah, so I finished this about, I don't know, it's probably been 2 months now, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But, what did you think about it?
Oh, we loved it. It was really good. The first episode, because Courtney watched the first episode without me, because I told her she could, and because a lot of times we watch those types of things together, but I'm so busy and I've got so many things to watch and do, and it's just hard. So she watched the first episode and she liked it a lot, and she said, you gotta watch this. I said, fine. So we sat down one night. I wasn't really wanting to watch it, but we started it and I was like, I mean, this is interesting, but like nothing crazy. And then the end of the first episode happened and I was like, oh,
yep,
that's a hook.
Yep.
And it's great. The whole thing's great. I think it's about 10 episodes or so.
I think it's 12.
It might be 12.
But I could be wrong.
We finished it 2 days ago. But it's fantastic. I think it's hard for me to pick a favorite because I feel like all the characters are so well fleshed out.
Yep, I agree.
Even the villains of the show, I think are fleshed out really well. I will say, though, Klaus is a pretty good one for both me and Courtney.
Yep, I really like Klaus. I also like number 5.
Yeah, number 5 is really good as well. It's definitely got me interested in the book. When I was in Boston, we went into a comic store, and I picked up... They had a trade paperback there, and I picked it up and kind of flipped through it. And the art's different from what I expected, but it looked really interesting, and... I don't know. Like, I've been wanting to get into more, not necessarily indie books, but smaller publishers, like, like a Valiant or like a Dark Horse or something that's not Marvel or DC. Because while I do love my Spider-Man books, they have their own problems. And I think there's a lot of value in short form storytelling or more condensed storytelling, things that aren't meant to last forever.
Yeah.
I think they can be a lot better than something that is meant to last forever. And so I don't know. I want to read it, but knowing my schedule, I probably won't be able to. But yeah, I mean, I really loved it. If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this for several reasons. So it's kind of like a superhero series, but not at the same time.
It definitely subverts the superhero genre.
Yeah, and so this is one of the reasons that I really, really like it is, obviously, me and you both like superheroes, so it has enough of that superhero, plot to kind of pull you in. You're like, oh, hey, to kind of get you invested. But once it has you invested, this is a show that, since it's not from a big publisher, kind of like you said, like Marvel or DC, Marvel and DC tends to kind of redo plots with different characters, I've realized, because they've been around for so long that a lot of times if you pick up a book, you can kind of tell where it's heading, or even the movies, a lot of times there's not a lot of twists and turns because they're kind of reusing and revamping older storylines and just making them a little bit newer, if that makes sense. But this, I feel like, is something brand new, and so there's nothing to go off previously. So yes, when it starts out, you can try to guess. However, there's so many twists and turns in here that every episode kind of catches you by surprise by doing something. And I really like that because it's not like you hit an episode and you're like, oh, I mean, that one was okay. Like, it caught you with something. There was something in every episode that kept me going. And then at the end, I was like, no, I don't want it to end. I want more. And so I'm super excited. They've already renewed it for a second season. So I'm stoked. I don't know when that's set to come out. I think I actually saw something the other day that said they're filming it.
Yeah, they might be.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I saw that they started filming it. So my guess would be maybe next year, a little bit later next year. But I'm super excited for it. And what I was going to say is that, kind of changing gears a little bit here, but has a little bit to do with one of the characters. So you know how there's been talks going around saying how Robert Pattinson might be the new Batman?
I have seen that, yeah.
Yes. So, no, I don't think anything's confirmed or anything. These are just, talks going around.
Actually,
however, I saw something.
I think there was a tweet that went out from one of them that pretty much confirmed it.
I saw the tweet, but I didn't consider it actually confirming it. It leaned more towards it, but they didn't just straight up say, like, he's gonna be the next Batman. At least the one I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but why would they do it if it wasn't?
I mean, that's true. Anyways, so, I follow all these pages on Facebook and groups, and it's interesting to see, what people think about things. And someone said that an amazing Robin would be Aidan Gallagher, which is number 5 from the Umbrella Academy. And I started thinking about it, and he would make an amazing Robin.
Yeah, I think he would be more like a Jason Todd type, or maybe a
Damian Wayne.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Maybe a Damian Wayne style.
Yep, and that's what people were pegging him as for the movie, just because he has that. He pulls off that type of character so well. Because number 5 and Damian Wayne are kind of similar. They're both very serious, and then may do some dry humor in there, but they're also sarcastic, and they don't like to follow rules, which is basically, both those characters in a nutshell. Plus, I mean, he pulls off the mask really well. So, I read that, and I was like, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's interesting that we talked about, kind of these types of comics versus other comics, because I actually had that as a talking point for this episode, which I'll just go into real quick because it's a good segue. But one of my problems with the big publishers is that the characters are, they've been around in some cases for 70 years plus. And like you mentioned, they keep doing the same kinds of storylines because they want to keep it regularly status quo. They don't want to change it too much. And I love me a good Spider-Man book, but I mean, there's only so many times I can read the same story. And so I was thinking about this. What I would love actually for them to do, and a lot of people would get really mad, but with as much as they stop and relaunch Spider-Man, what I would want them to do, end it. Amazing Spider-Man ends. Period. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 700 would have been a great ending, but they brought him back after Superior. So, like, end the book, and then do miniseries, but they're not in any canon. So you can do anything. So, like, if you wanted to kill Aunt May for dramatic effect, awesome. You're not going to have to deal with that later because it's a miniseries. It's a limited series. It's not meant to last.
It's like what we said, like one-shots with them, like how the DC is doing with the Joker movie. It's not tied in.
Definitely. Or, like, you could do a longer form. It's not really a limited series when you have, like, 30 issues anymore, but start out and say, oh, I'm going to have 30 issues and do something cool with it. Like, some of the best comic books are Batman, and they're graphic novels. They're not related to the main continuity. I mean, The Long Halloween, wow, I just forgot the name of it. The Killing Joke. A lot of those books don't have anything to do with the main continuity, right? And it's Watchmen doesn't have a main continuity. It's just that one thing. It's self-contained. It's pretty short. And it's really good because of that, because you can do different things. And I kind of wish that maybe this trend of, or this tradition of having a comic book that's published every month or every 2 weeks or whatever, that never changes, is wrong. Because we've gotten to the point where it's so hard to do something new. And when you do it, it feels gimmicky most of the time.
And I feel like, to kind of add on to what you said, it's not only that, but it's that you grow connections to these characters, and when they're killed off, yes, you may be a little sad, but for the most part that they're going to end up coming back. And so I don't think it has much of an effect on you as it typically would if, like you said, they did these individual issues, or they ended it totally, and you may not know, if he's coming back or not. And that's one reason why I think Game of Thrones was as popular as it was. They weren't scared to kill off characters, and so you got connected to certain characters, and then they were just taken away randomly, and it had a lasting effect of you being like, oh no, I really connected with them, but it kept you on the show because you didn't know where else it was going to go.
Yeah, and I think that you're still able to connect with the characters when it's the same character across different stories. I mean, back in the day, to throw it really back far, I mean, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys were like that. Any series of books that are kind of like that, it's a different story about the same character. I mean, James Bond is a perfect example. Same character, different actors even, across tons of different stories. I mean, there's lots of examples here, and I think that comics could follow that really successfully.
Yeah, I completely agree. It'd be nice to kind of see, like you said, shorter storylines. I know that sometimes when they run books, I would like to maybe have one storyline completed and, 5-10 issues, whereas having to collect, 20, 30, however many, keep going. Because if you miss one and you fall behind, it's harder to catch up. And so I know, like you said, collecting all the Spider-Man comics, you stopped reading them for, a few weeks, then you come back, or a few months, maybe even a year, and you come back, and there's so many issues that it feels like you're kind of drowning and having to catch up. And I feel like if that happens, you kind of lose the enjoyment of reading them because you're trying to catch up at a pace that they're being put out at, and it's almost impossible with life to do that. So I feel like it'd be nicer and more relaxed to have these shorter storylines like you're saying, that are not connected to anything. That way, if you miss a whole storyline, it's not a huge deal. You can just get caught up on the next one.
Exactly. And, for me, that would be awesome. I'm sure other people feel different ways. But anyway, something else, though, that was restarted and to relative success was this little show, Jacob, called Star Trek. You ever heard of it?
Star Trek, I don't, Star Wars, Star Trek.
Well, Star Wars, yes, it's the same thing. Right? Yeah, that one,
Yeah, and the Force, that's what I thought.
Live long and force them.
Yeah, right? It's the lightsabers and the lasers, right? The photon lasers. And Spock, I think? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Darth Klingon, right? Master Spock and Yoda.
And Captain Anakin, right?
So when I was on the planes to both Hawaii and Boston, I had a lot of time to watch things. And they had Star Trek Discovery, which is the newest Star Trek series, on there. And they had the first 3 episodes. I mentioned a few weeks back how I watched the first episode of the original Star Trek series for the first time. And then I'd seen some of, I think, the Next Generation movies, 1 or 2 of them, and I've seen the first 2 of the new J.J. Abrams movies. But I haven't seen any of the others. And so this was my first exposure to Star Trek outside of the first episode, basically. And man, dude, I really liked it. It was really good.
Really?
Yeah, like really good.
See, I haven't actually watched any. I've seen the Star Trek movies, the newer ones, obviously. But I haven't watched really any of the old Star Trek things. The only 2 Star Trek items that I've seen are the movies, like I just said, and also that TV show, The Orville, which is not exactly like Star Trek.
No, it's kind of a parody.
Yeah, which I liked it, and I thought it was hilarious. However, I haven't seen, one that follows actually storylines and, I mean, a more serious Star Trek one.
Yeah, and man, it, the first 2 episodes are almost like a prologue to the rest of the series, which I wasn't expecting. I thought that was kind of going to be like the thing for the series. And so that caught me off guard, in a good way, though. The acting and all of it's fantastic. The sets are amazing. It looks really good. To me, it looks movie quality. I'm just frustrated that they only have the first 3 episodes, because the only other way to watch it is to get CBS All Access, and I really don't want to, but I also really want to finish it.
I see your issue.
So I'm thinking about maybe at some point when I have some time, getting all access for like a month or so,
Yeah.
finishing it, and then canceling it. And then when season 2 is done, do the same thing. Season 3 is done. And kind of like every year, maybe doing that.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, if you like Star Wars, if you like sci-fi, if you like anything like that, I don't know if I can convey how highly I would recommend this series. Based on the first 3 episodes, it is really, 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 really good and entertaining.
Talking about series, right? Nice transition there.
Yeah, just pat yourself on the back for it.
Well, you know, you gotta accept when you win some, you know. Yeah, so I have a few things to do with series actually. First thing is I started watching more of Krypton.
Is that good?
Yes, actually, it took me a little bit. The first episode I was like, oh, I mean, okay, this is okay. Second episode I was like, I don't know if it's gonna keep my attention, but from then on out, it's done a pretty good job. I'm about, I don't know, 10 episodes in, maybe more than that. And it's actually pretty good. It's not what you would expect.
Right.
Obviously it's not your typical Superman story because Superman's not in it. It follows around his grandfather when he was a kid. Or a teenager. And it's very interesting. It has a lot of twists and turns. But I think it's done probably one of the best ways that they could have done it. The acting I was kind of worried about. I remember watching the trailers and thinking it kind of looks cheapish, you know?
Yep.
Even some of the sets I saw, I was like,
That's on Sci-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watch it on, the DC streaming.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's actually decently good. Obviously it's not the best show I've ever seen, but it's really good. It keeps my, attention, and it's a good show. You know, if you just come home from work and you're tired and you want to just sit down and watch something, I suggest that. It's really good.
I will say, like, I've never seen it, but at least the villain stuff I've seen come out of it, that all looks pretty interesting because from what I've seen, they do a good job adapting the villains visually. I don't know how the storylines play out or how they sound or move or anything, but like the stills I've seen look really good.
So they do this really interesting thing. The big villain actually has been teased, but I haven't actually seen him in the shows yet. I know who he is, and I've seen him for a brief second. It's kind of like Thanos at the end of, you know, some movies. It's kind of been like that.
So Darkseid, basically.
I mean, yeah, yeah. But what they've done is something really, really cool is they've taken some future villains that you know from like Superman, right? And they found a way to tie them back into Krypton, which sounds stupid. You're like, that doesn't make sense. None of them were from Krypton. Well, when you see the first episode, it makes sense because someone from Earth in the future comes back.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I heard there's time travel involved.
Yes, it's just one guy, and he comes back basically trying to save the future. But it's a pretty cool storyline, and they introduce villains that you've seen and that you know are in the future, but they introduce them in the past, which is really cool because you get to see them build up a little bit more. So that was one that I've been watching. Second one is I finished My Hero Season 3.
Oh, so good, isn't it?
So good. I want Season 4 to be here now. I have watched so much. So, for everybody listening, I hurt my back like Saturday or Sunday. And so I've been like incapacitated basically. And so I've been just watching TV the past 2 or 3 days because my back's been pretty bad. And so I've watched so much. So I was on like Season 2, episode like 5 of My Hero, and I've just watched all the way through Season 3 in the past 2 days. And yeah, it's so good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
It's borderlining Naruto. Like,
oh, so Naruto is good because of the emotions it's able to convey, and the way it frames everything over a long period of time. It feels like an epic.
Yeah.
My Hero is fantastic because it's able to give you those same feelings in a much shorter amount of time.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It still feels earned. And I don't know if I say it feels epic the way that Naruto is an epic, but it's really cool and it's energizing and it's, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily want to say it's better than Naruto, but at the same time, I kind of want to say it's better than Naruto. I mean,
yeah,
strictly storyline and pacing wise, it's definitely better than Naruto.
Oh yeah, and not having to worry about like fillers, and stuff like that. There was literally only one episode in 3 seasons that was like a special episode that didn't follow like the canon,
and that was a tie-in to the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And so
which by the way, have you seen the movie?
No, not yet.
All right, so the movie, from my understanding, is not canon, but it's so good. I wish it was.
Where did you watch that at?
I saw it in theaters when it came out.
Okay.
I think you can get it digitally now.
Okay. I may watch that. I'm actually going to see Spider-Man tonight.
Late
tonight, though. I'm going late, though, Caleb. I'm going at 10:40.
I could go at 10:15, but I don't really want to be up that late.
But I'm doing it. It's the last IMAX of the day. I don't think it's going to be that crowded because it's during the week.
All right, I want you to hit me up tomorrow morning. Just tell me what you thought briefly. I don't want anything in depth.
No spoilers.
I don't want to know any spoilers, and I don't want you to hype anything to the point where it's like, all right, something's up with this. Like, I don't want you to come back and be like, just wait for the end credits. Because then I'm just going to be thinking about the end credits the whole time.
I'll be very chill. I'll kind of do like our non-spoiler section on the show.
Okay.
Just
okay.
maybe like, yeah, I suggest you go see it.
Go see it.
It's really good. But yeah, I actually just made plans. We were starting the podcast, and after we did our clap, I texted my friend. I said, 10:40 tonight, Spider-Man. He said, "Yep." I said, "Sweet." So just because I got to get out of the house, I've been here too much lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so My Hero, the reason I really really like it is it's a totally different feel than Naruto, right? So Naruto is amazing. Like, I love Naruto so much. Strictly Shippuden, I like Naruto, but Shippuden is just so much better.
But Shippuden isn't Shippuden without Naruto.
Exactly. So, like, you need that. You need those building blocks in order for Shippuden to be so good. And so the problem is, I've watched however many episodes are on Naruto. I guess like 300, maybe. And
the original?
Yeah.
It's like 2 something.
Okay, so let's just say 250. I've watched like 250 of Naruto, and then I've watched like 200 of Shippuden. So that's like 450 episodes or something like that of Naruto, and I really love it. However, My Hero, I've only seen probably 60 episodes because there's about 20 per each season, and my love for it is almost already right there with Naruto with only 60 episodes. So, given that it had as many episodes as Naruto, and it kept doing the same thing it's doing now, it doesn't just kind of flatline, easily, I think My Hero is better. I mean, easily. You don't have, I love Naruto, but you don't have that annoying thing where Naruto's always saying, like, I'm gonna be the best. Deku does that, but he does it in a different way where it doesn't get annoying.
Some people don't agree with you. Some people think he cries way too much.
Well, I mean, maybe, but some of that adds comedic relief. But I like it because in Naruto, I'm just gonna say Naruto to afford to like everything Naruto, So, like, it's weird because you can go through like 4 or 5 episodes of Naruto, and it'd be fight, intense. And then if you're watching all of them, you hit a filler and he's crying like the entire episode. And it takes you out because you were like, I just saw this awesome fight, and now he's like a kid again. But with My Hero, you have those comedic reliefs in the episode, but they aren't during massive times. When the intensity is being built, they keep building the intensity. And then after the intensity is over, they may add a little bit of comedic relief, but it's not an entire, 20-minute episode of just crying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's one thing. I don't want to get more into it because I've already talked like 20 minutes about it. But I love that. So I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that movie. I might watch that when we're done. So that's my second thing on the series. Okay.
Okay.
Is this cool? Do you care if I just keep like saying what I was saying?
You can keep rolling. I got stuff too. We can interject. We can mix it up. Whatever you want to do.
Sweet. I only have like one more thing on series, and then I'll toss it over to you.
Okay, cool.
This is more news. Caleb, me and you have already talked about this. Pictures of Henry Cavill and The Witcher came out.
Oh yes, I almost mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, and these look so much better than the first picture that came out.
Much, much better. Which I was expecting because that first one, I mean, you could just see the wig. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
Look. The only wig that was of that level in a movie or TV show was in Venom at the end. Carnage's wig. But, I mean, come on. This isn't Sony. Sony's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, The Witcher's not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first saw that picture, I was like, oh no. I remember us talking about it. We were like, oh man. You were like, it has to get better, right? Like, this is just the first one they've released. Surely, and it has. The picture that they released, Henry Cavill looks really, really good as him. And
his name is Geralt, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. He looks almost exactly identical from the game.
Yeah. Which, just to clear things up, this is not based on the games. The games are based on a series of books. This is based on the books. However, it looks like they're taking a lot of the aesthetics from the game. Which
makes sense, considering there's no aesthetics in the book.
Well, there are, but you have to read them.
Well, exactly. And then if you have to read aesthetics, does it really make it aesthetic?
Yeah, if it's describing how something looks.
You know what, Caleb? You're an aesthetic.
Thank you. I am quite beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. I don't think there's any news on when this is coming out.
No, this comes out...
Oh, just kidding.
Well, I don't know if it's official news, but I was trying to find out. It's expected, I believe, to hit at the latter end of this year. Oh, I remember. There was a investor call or something, and they said that this was dropping the last, I think, 2 or 3 months of the year.
I'm so excited for this. It's going to be something new. I don't think there's a show like this on Netflix right now. Because I've actually been watching a lot of Netflix recently and scrolling through the shows. I don't think there's a series that's really like this. There's Sabrina, which is kind of mystical.
Very different.
But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's mystical like The Witcher. However, it's not... I mean, it's not even in the same spot, and that's really the closest thing. So I'm super excited for this. I'm wondering how many episodes are going to be in the full season.
I think it's 10.
You think it's 10?
I think they said 10.
Okay.
Or probably, wait, actually, it might be 8.
Ooh.
One moment. Let me check.
Okay. Do you know if they're probably an hour long, right?
I'm sure, at least.
Okay, good. I could deal with that. 8 hours. That's like one work day. Maybe 10 hours.
Let's see. This is not the right page.
Oh man. Well, Caleb, you keep looking at. I was just gonna say, if you guys haven't seen this picture of him, look it up. There's two. There's one that's like a really kind of just more of a headshot of him like looking sideways, and then there's like a full body frontal shot. Actually, that came out wrong, but like you see like the whole.
It is The Witcher.
Yeah. I mean he's clothed like, but you can see what he's wearing, and it looks really, really good. The atmosphere looks really good around him. Just go ahead and look that up. I mean, I'm sure all you have to do is look up The Witcher teaser, and it would just pop right up.
So, it's definitely launching in the last 3 months of the year. That was revealed on an earnings call. I'm trying to find... I read this page just like the other day, and I was trying to find where it said the number of episodes.
All right, everybody, go ahead and start whistling Jeopardy music.
I can't, for some reason, find it. All right, well, let's just say 10. but I don't think it's 10.
Okay. Let's say 9. That way, if it's 8, you're only slightly disappointed. If it's 10, you're only slightly more excited. Boom. But yeah, so I'm super excited for that. That was really kind of it that I had on. Oh, I lied. I had one more thing. Sorry, Caleb.
Go for it.
One more thing. I've been watching Designated Survival.
Oh, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if a trailer for this dropped during Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah. I read something that said they're pretty sure that it's going to drop during Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Because that's like the only big thing between here and the release time. That would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah. But I've been watching Designated Survival on Netflix. That show is the bomb. Super, super good. It's super realistic. It's just really quick. I'll just tell you the small plot. Basically, every year whenever Congress and the Senate and everybody gathers under one building, they take out one person and he's like the designated survivor. That way, in case something happens, in the line of presidency, someone's left. And this is all in the first episode, so it's not really a spoiler, and it's in trailers. Basically, everybody dies, and he becomes the president, and there has to be like a whole new Congress and everything, and it's him trying to put everything back together, but it's action-packed, it's dramatic, it's super, super good, really inspirational too. 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
You go. Only slightly disappointed. But yeah, so if you guys haven't seen that, you should definitely check that out. Designated Survival on Netflix. 3 seasons, a lot of episodes, like 20 episodes per season, I think. Super, super good. Yeah. Caleb, what do you got?
All right, so a couple weeks ago, we talked about Aladdin, and Courtney asked me if I'd seen any of the other live-action Disney ones, and I said no, and she asked me if I was going to watch any of them, and I said, probably not. Unless I just love the original, I'm probably not going to watch it. I was looking forward to Mulan, which, although some of the news coming out makes me less excited for it. However, on the plane, they had The Jungle Book, the Disney one. So the Disney remake one. Sorry, because there were a couple. There's Mowgli that came out. Anyway, so I watched it, and let me tell you, I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, was not a fan. I thought it was long. I thought it was boring. I thought they made unnecessary changes, like making Louis like a really bad guy. They only had like 2 songs from the original, and one of them they changed to make it really dark. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like the Jungle Book to me. And honestly, it made me a lot less excited for The Lion King, seeing as Jon Favreau did both of them. And I'm not, I don't know. I don't even know if I can say I'm looking forward to Lion King anymore.
What? I actually loved Jungle Book.
I did too. The original.
Well, yeah, but I like the live action too.
No, not a fan.
Wow, that actually surprises me a lot.
Yeah, I don't ever have to see that again. I don't hate it, but it just felt like a lot of nothing. I'm pretty sure they changed the storyline of several of the characters. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the original. But I think if they're going to do these, the way to go is like they did with Aladdin, and pretty much just remake the movie.
Did you also hear that Aladdin's... I haven't seen Aladdin yet, first off. But that it's doing a lot better in the box office than they thought it was going to be?
Yes.
And that there's already talks of doing a sequel?
No.
Yeah. I read something on that. It was an interview with the director or something like that. And basically they said that, so for this movie, they followed... But I haven't seen it, but they said they followed pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah. And so, but they said they've been doing so well that there's already been talks that there might be a second one, but the second one would be a little bit more tricky, they were talking about, because there's not a storyline for them to follow.
Well, there is. There's 2 sequels to Aladdin.
Well, yeah, but
there's Return of Jafar, and there is the 7 Thieves, something Thieves, King of Thieves, the King of Thieves.
Well, Return of Jafar is not good, in my opinion.
I think I've only seen it once.
I haven't seen.
I saw King of Thieves a lot as a child, so I can't say if it's good or not because it's jaded. I've seen the Jafar one but I don't know.
Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, even though it's Disney, they're making their own version of the Avengers. You know, they're going to take all these live action princess and prince movies, and they're going to create their own team.
They already did that, Jacob. It was called Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Which is hilarious because I literally just watched that yesterday. Like, I literally just watched that. And as I was saying that, I was thinking of all the princesses saving Ralph as he's falling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting like a superhero feel out of this.
Yeah, I think it's a really bad idea, actually. People liked this one because it was like the animated one. They didn't like it because of the movie it was. They liked it because it was like the one they remembered. And it was fun and entertaining, but by itself, no. I think making a sequel is a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the main reason they're getting people now is kind of like you said. They like the original, and it's nostalgia. That's why you're going. You know, you remember it from your childhood or your younger years, and you remember that you really liked it. And so even if it was an awful movie, if you saw it as a kid and you kind of thought it was good as a kid, chances are you're going to go see it in theaters now. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't matter how bad of a movie it is. Home Alone, I love. However, Home Alone 2 and 3 or whatever, I hate those movies. But if they want to make a new one and follow the same storyline, I'd still go to see it. So,
Yeah.
like, I think it's just getting because of nostalgia. And so if they don't follow the storylines, kind of like you're saying, I think they're going to lose people.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just, no, don't. Remake something else instead. You're doing it anyway.
Or, you know, make something new for a change. That might be nice.
Well, they do that as well.
I mean, barely.
Ouch.
Not that much.
Disney has a lot more under it than you think.
Well, yes, like that one episode that we talked about, the Disney Empire. There's a lot. However, I'm talking about Aladdin-esque movies, Cinderella-esque movies. You know, just make something new. Make a new princess. Is it that hard? You know, just slap a dress on her. Slap like a man that has to come save her, I guess, because that's in all the movies, apparently.
They tried that. They did it in Wreck-It Ralph, and nobody liked her, so they don't count her as a princess.
Okay, but she's not really... She was a kid. Like, that's not...
Kids are princesses.
Okay, you're a princess.
Haven't you seen Frozen?
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, all the Disney movies that are princess movies have a specific feel to them. Even Brave, which is from Pixar?
Which is Disney.
Yeah. Has a slightly different feel to it, but all of them have relatively the same feel. Wreck-It Ralph does not feel like a princess movie at all. Like, not even close. So, like,
no. They're not supposed to be princess movies, though.
You know what I mean, though. I'm not saying they were specifically, explicitly
sounds sexist
supposed
to me.
be. Okay. Open up your mailbox because there's about to be a lot of hate mail in there. You know, for me and you both.
I think you.
No. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying the movies that you consider princess movies, like Cinderella, Snow White, they have a specific feel to them.
Look.
That's all I'm saying.
What it comes down to is this whole myth that you're trying to spread, we can consider it busted. Because I watched Mythbusters Jr. on the plane.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, my bad. My bad. Go ahead and get that sheet of metal that says busted on it and toss it at my head. It'd be great.
I was going to say, I'll chug it at your head. Side note, one of my friends almost killed me when I was in high school by accidentally chucking a spade, like a garden shovel.
Wow.
At my neck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
like,
not good.
Like, they took it out of a trunk and they thought they were going to be funny and they spun around. I was like, I don't know, 15 feet behind them. They spun around and pointed it at me. And the metal bit came off of the handle bit and went, like, right beside my neck.
Ooh.
Yeah, not great.
What a way to go. Side note from your side note, so side note, the guy with the orange hair that's not completely bald for Mythbusters went on and got a new show after Mythbusters ended, and he created his own Iron Man armor that was completely bulletproof, and it was awesome. I just watched it the other day.
You're talking about Adam. Adam Savage?
Yeah.
The one that doesn't wear the hat.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He's also in Mythbusters Jr.
No way.
Yeah, so they brought him back, and he's doing Mythbusters Jr. He's kind of like the host. He doesn't do very much with the actual myth busting. What they've done is they've gone out and they've got a group of, I think, 4 or 5 kids and put them together to be the Mythbusters now. And Adam is there as kind of like their mentor.
What do they do? Like, they can't do like explosives and stuff. Like...
Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, they can. So,
Really?
So they've got the kids, and Adam is there sometimes to help, but they've also got a team of people who, most of them worked on the previous show.
Yeah.
And they are kind of like experts, and they help them with more of the dangerous things. But, oh, yeah, they do. Like, they definitely blew up a car. They were doing all these experiments. There's a 12-year-old kid who is really smart, and then I realized 3 episodes in that he is also a sophomore in college. Yeah, so these kids know what's up. They're a little stilted because they're new to TV, and they're still trying to figure it out. But it was entertaining. Yeah. The myths they were doing were pretty interesting.
That's cool. Speaking about, stuff finishing, I know you're trying to go over your stuff, but I forgot about this. I just saw this. Did you ever finish Detroit Become Human?
Oh, yeah, man. A long time ago. Long time ago.
That's the free game for this month.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was like, I feel robbed. I could have waited one more year and gotten it for free.
I mean, I just played that, I think, earlier this year.
Yeah, you did. Because I remember talking about it on the episode. Yeah, because I remember you saying in the episode you did finish it because we were talking about if we got the same storylines or not.
That happened to me with something else recently that I haven't even played yet.
Yep.
And I was really frustrated.
Yeah, they actually changed it. Originally, the game was supposed to be... It was something called, like, PES 2019. I don't know what that was. It was a game that was supposed to be coming out, but they changed it for Detroit Becomes Human at the last minute. So,
dang it. All right,
anyways, continue with your list.
Speaking of video games, I guess, I jumped back into Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, nice.
I put, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into that over the weekend, liking it, because Toy Story actually made me want to go back into it, because I was currently in the Toy Story world. It's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. I will say that I really like the Frozen world. I'm liking what they're doing with the Pirates world, which they have not done a good job of in the past. However, they did a terrible job on Monsters, Inc. because I really did not enjoy that level.
I don't really have much feedback. I've never played Kingdom Hearts.
So the concept is that you travel to different worlds, and those different worlds are Disney-themed. So cool. In this one, there's 8 different ones, and you spend about maybe 2 to 3 hours in each one.
Is it like open world? Is it?
No, not open world. It's like there's like a linear path that you follow. Mm-hmm. But some of them have branches that you can go out, and sometimes you can go different ways, but it's fairly linear.
So like Uncharted.
Yes, but maybe not always quite as linear, and even though when it is, there's usually also more open spaces. Like Uncharted for the most part is a lot of smaller confined spaces. But yeah.
Oh, sorry. I definitely interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say same type thing.
So, like, Force Unleashed would be a really good, because that one's pretty wide, but it's linear at the same time.
Yes. And that's also the same style of game. It's an action RPG style game, which is good, but it kind of lives or dies on the quality of the worlds. And so they've done Pirates twice before, and I hated them both times. This one, though, was really good. They actually hired someone that can do a decent Johnny Depp impression. So
that's good.
That's good. That's
a good place to start. Depp, you didn't know.
Right. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So I'm maybe about halfway through the game right now. Hopefully I'll be able to play more. I wanted to play more this week, but having to do 2 episodes in 1 week has kind of hindered that. So
yeah. You were saying, I was just throwing this out there, not to talk about it. Spider-Man PS4, right? Adding the Far From Home suits.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I was actually thinking the other day, I need to jump in and do the DLCs because I have them and I haven't done them.
Yeah, I had actually just started playing. I redid it on like the ultimate mode, where like 2 gunshots kills you.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got through like the first like 4 levels, not dying at all. And then I stopped and I changed games with my boss. I gave him Spider-Man PS4 and he gave me Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I've started playing. But I kind of want to switch back because I kind of want to like just swing around the city again. Like
it's pretty fun. Speaking of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, PlayStation had a sale the other day for PlayStation Plus members.
Yes.
And while I have not been purchasing games, I decided to give in slightly. And I purchased
45 games.
I purchased 3/4 games.
Okay.
One of them was a 2-pack.
Okay.
The first game I purchased was Call of Cthulhu.
Never heard of it.
Which is a Lovecraftian game. It came out last year that I've been wanting to play. It's a very dark, kind of horror-esque themed, Cthulhu. If you know anything about Cthulhu...
I was going to say, don't you not like scary games? Like, you didn't like... you liked Last of Us, but you said it was scary. So,
that's true. I don't like jump scares, is what I don't like. Like, creepy, I can deal with. Atmosphere, I can deal with. This game doesn't really have jump scares. That's not really what it's about. It's about the atmosphere. It's about the feeling of insanity. It's about the feeling of losing your mind. What's real, what isn't.
that's cool.
Those types of things. And because I've started reading Lovecraft, I thought it was going to be really interesting. So I purchased that. Got that for $30, which is a pretty good deal.
That's good.
I got Unravel 2, which is a small little side-scrolling game that you can play co-op, which is why I got it. That was $5. So that's a good one. And then I got something that I thought I was never, ever, 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 ever going to purchase again. Assassin's Creed.
Was that the 2-pack?
That was the 2-pack. They had a 2-pack with Origins and Odyssey for $30.
Wow.
Which is half the price of what Odyssey is right now.
Wow. That's really good.
Yep.
I can tell you, I have both of them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Origins is really good. However, it's completely different than any other Assassin's Creed game before it.
Which is good.
In a way, yes. You'll really like it. It's more Skyrim now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Much more open world. You can level up weapons. There's weapon stats. A lot of that.
Right.
However, Odyssey took what Origins began and perfected it.
And that's why I got it, because I wasn't really looking for Origins. I was looking for Odyssey, and they didn't have just Odyssey on sale. They only had it in the 2-pack. And so I was like, well, I've heard that people liked Origins a lot, and I looked up reviews again, and I know that Odyssey took that and ran with it and really embraced the RPG elements that Origins started. And so that's why I got it. Because I played Brotherhood, which I loved. I played the beginning of 3, which I hated. And that's the last one
3. That's my favorite one.
No, I hated it. I did not like it. My friend Chris Ward, as you people know him, because he's been on the show, he loves Boston. He loves Assassin's Creed. Hated 3.
Really?
Yep. So I wasn't going to get another one, especially with the declining quality that it experienced with Unity and Syndicate, and maybe some others. But the praise for Odyssey brought me back, so I haven't started it yet. I really wanted to, but I decided I needed to finish Kingdom Hearts first, since I'm almost a year past on that one now.
Yeah, I will say, whenever you start...
Wait a minute, that came out this year? I'm definitely not a year past. I don't know what I was thinking. It's been a long year.
Oh. Oof. When you start, honestly, I wouldn't even play Origins. Okay.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay, good. I was going to say...
I might go back to it afterwards, because when that came out, Courtney wanted me to play it so she could watch the history stuff about it.
Yeah.
But I, honestly, am really just interested in Odyssey.
Okay. I was going to say, I'll let you know now, if you play Odyssey first, you won't go back and play Origins, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But because once Origins opens up, there's so much different about it that I don't think you'll like it. It's just not as good, kind of like you said, it just kind of started it, but didn't run with it like Odyssey did. Now, when you start Odyssey, you need to make sure you have a few hours free, because I opened it the other day and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do the opening little bit. That way you can get into the free world, the part that you always have at the beginning. And I ended up playing it until 3 in the morning. It sucks you in. And the armor in the game is so cool, and they finally done something. Caleb, I don't even care that I'm taking away time from you. The armor in the game, they finally done my favorite thing that I've wanted in every single Assassin's Creed, and maybe it was in Origins, but I didn't think so. You know how you would get like a piece of armor, right? And you would equip it to your character, and you would be like, oh, this looks so cool, right? But you get a new piece of armor that doesn't look very cool at all, but I know
what you're going to say. You can change the look of any piece of armor with the stats that you want.
Yep. So now each pizzeria
has the armor that you need. Do you want the pepperoni armor? Do you want the sardines armor? What are you doing? There's a really stereotypical Italian accent. I'm going to make people angry. It's me, Mario.
But yeah, so each armor that you pick up, basically it goes into a database, and you can select an armor that you like, and it has like a little eye icon, and you like click square, and it comes up with every single armor that you've picked up in the game so far. Like, you have to have held it in your inventory, but even if you've, got rid of it, sold it, or scrapped it, whatever, you can still change it to look like that. And I love that, because my character was looking like super lame, but the stats were really good. I was like, dang it. And then it popped up on the side. It was like, did you know that you could change your armor? I was like, no. And so I changed it. And yeah, okay. Yeah, that's like my highest praise for it, because it's I've always wanted that, and they've never had it. It's so aggravating. And you can change it as many times as you want. That's so great.
Dang, if only you could do that in real life. I could put your personality in a body that isn't so ugly.
Oh, man. You're right. What a joke.
Gotcha.
And I could take your personality out of... oh my, just go. Just go.
All right. Oh, man. What else do I have? So I mentioned that I got a book a while back about the Broadway play, Spider-Man, and the behind the scenes. While we were in Hawaii, I actually started it, and I spent 2 hours reading it, which is a long time for me to sit down and read a book. I got like 50 or 60 pages in. I haven't picked it up since because I've been too busy, but I plan to. It's really good. Like, really, really good. The stuff that happens is insane. So it's written by the guy that wrote the script, and like he had to burn some bridges when he wrote that book because the stuff he talks about. But it's so entertaining. The production is just insane. The stuff that they did, like the lead producer died, like in the middle of production.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Like he was right? No, he was in a meeting with some people. One guy walked out to get a pen to sign a contract, and he had a brain aneurysm. And he just died.
That's what it was.
Right there. So, anyway, it's really good. It's called A Song of Spider-Man. Check it out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I had some dumb stuff that doesn't matter. But, yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. I just had one last thing. It's not a huge thing, but I thought I'd just throw it out there.
Well, not from you.
Wow. So, Mortal Kombat 11?
Mm-hmm.
So, the DLC characters have been leaked, right?
It's Geralt, right?
What?
It's Geralt?
No.
No, it's a different character.
Yeah, there's 9. I'm not going to go through all of them. But there's Joker, Terminator, and Spawn all among them, which is pretty cool.
Spawn? Okay, that fits really well, actually.
Yeah, you also have Shiva, which is from some of the other games. Shang Tsung, which is also from some of the others. And there's a few characters I don't know. Fujin, Ash, Sindel, Nightwolf. Yeah, and that's all of them.
Does Ash come with his Pikachu?
Actually Charizard, but...
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's a violent game, so the finish move is just Charizard setting them on fire and then biting their head off.
I like it.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been a fun episode, actually. This is not the type of episode that I ever thought we would be doing, because it feels lazy, and let me tell you, it really is.
But it flowed well, and that's all that matters.
It did flow well. We had a lot of stuff to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did actually enjoy this, and you actually want us to do this more, let me know. I seriously doubt that you think that, but hit us up on Twitter or on Facebook, because we're nerds on both of them, obviously. and let us know. But before we go, we do want to say thank you to Taylor Poole for doing our amazing, spectacular intro music. You can find him at taylorpoolemusic.com. That's TaylorPoole music.com.
And, we talked about a lot of games in here. If you want to see some more on games, go ahead and go on over to CNC Power Hour on Twitch. They stream Magic the Gathering. And do you know what game they're currently playing right now, Caleb?
Man, you ask me every time. How am I supposed to know?
Well,
I don't even have enough time to read my book.
Anyways, they stream some video games throughout the week, but Magic the Gathering is on Sundays. So yeah, go in and check them out. They're pretty awesome guys, and it'll be magical.
Also, check out our website, CuzWe'reNerds.com. It is the easiest, most effective, quickest way to share the show with a friend. We have all of our episodes on there, as well as links to iTunes, to Spotify, to Stitcher, to whatever your platform of choice is. And just in case it's not there, if you send me an email, I will add it to make everyone's lives easier. So please, go check that out.
Caleb is a man of the people.
What? Thanks for listening to 'Cause We're Nerds. Stay up to date with all the nerdy news and podcast drops by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also leave us comments and feedback at cuzwe'renerds@gmail.com. That's CUZWERENERDS@gmail.com. And as always, if you enjoy this podcast, we would love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Next week, we return to the MCU as Spider-Man Far From Home swings into theaters. Being the first film after Endgame, how does it wrap up the Infinity Saga and set up what's next? Is it able to keep up the fun atmosphere that made Homecoming so great? And the real question, is Mysterio really the villain? Find out on next week's episode of 'Cause We're Nerds. And as always, stay nerdy.
So, Caleb, at the end, when you say stay naughty, right? I'm always like, should I say it with him or not? Because sometimes in the past we have, especially when we're one person, but it's kind of hard when we're over the interweb, because, you may be planning to say stay naughty and go low, and I may be like, stay naughty. And I'm like, no, that's too high. That's not good. That's too high. You can't do that. And you may be like, stay naughty. And I may be like, stay naughty. And that's too short. That's no good either. So it's hard to do the,
What? Chicken
I can't, but,
I'm buying you a pizza.
Okay, red masked internet sensation man.
You're strong bad.
Yeah.
I'm having some issues turning on my computer. Do you have any tips? Sincerely, Mr. Diaper McDiaperface. Well, Mr. McDiaperface, let me tell you, computers can be the most confusing thing in the world. But, easy for you, you have me. And I am a computer ninja expert. So, step 1. Turn on and off your computer. Now, do not use the on and off button, but just unplug it from the computer. Step 2. Throw your brother into the computer. I know you might be worried about the damage your computer will sustain, but let me tell you, this accent has gone way off course.
It's slowly more and more leaning like a smoker voice. Just slowly, ever so slightly, every few words, and every single time you took a breath, you tried to come back and recuperate, but it never actually happened. Mr. Strongbad, everybody.